Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk. Trigger warning. The film reviewed in this episode includes references to sexual assault, forced birth, kidnapping, forced feeding, incest, eugenics, pornography, breastfeeding, violence against women, violence against men, violence against the homeless, suicide, murder, real estate investment, Hollywood, dick cops, and strong female leads. You have been warned.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Oh, shit.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
We need to go now.
One of the best horror movies I've seen this year.
Definitely 10 out of 10.
Come here!
Was crazy.
This is perfectly natural.
All right, and,
What's wrong?
Nothing. No, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong.
Welcome to Moviesucktastic, where nothing is wrong.
Nothing is wrong. The video played out of sequence. I didn't want that to happen, but it did. So, basically, it's like, you know, I have our little teaser opening. The TV spot was supposed to go next, which I did put next. VLC player decided to rearrange it. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens after this slideshow, if it goes into the next one, or if it actually starts playing shit the way it wants. I don't know. All I know is
nothing's wrong.
Something's going to, just like nothing was wrong at the house that they rented in this movie.
Yes. So welcome again to Moviesucktastic, where nothing is going wrong. I am Scott. The frantic one trying to figure out his computer is Joey.
Yeah, that's me.
And today we are reviewing Barbarian, the 2022 film, which we've done so many films from the 80s and 90s and stuff. We're trying to do more recent stuff, and Joey had already seen this, and he loved it, and he wanted me to see it, so it was a perfect choice.
I did love it.
What episode is this, sir?
This is 379.
379. I'm just labeling the episode while we're recording it because I'm a multitasker.
Ooh,
also, what did you think of I added a new opening to the opening, and this is optional, but I wanted to check out. I wanted to put a spoiler alert at the front, and then for this movie specifically, I was like, let me try a trigger warning alert as well. So. How do we feel about those? Do you think that, and if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, please let me know in the comments if it was a bad idea or if it's okay.
Well, I will say this, as much as I enjoy the trigger warning, and while everything in the trigger warning is actually true, I find it more funny than anything else.
Well, that was the goal. So
I love the one part in the trigger warning. It's like real estate transactions. Like,
There's a lot of real estate shit going on in this film. Yeah. Believe me. I want to go through this. And actually, I dug out the old notebook.
Look at you.
This film is like, I got to start right. But then I only got half a page because the film's so good. I didn't really have many criticisms. And most of them, this movie's one of those films you watch it and you're thinking about it 2 days later.
Yeah.
It's not, it ain't like The Usual Suspects, but.
No.
It's just,
but the one thing.
Another example.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Mine's quick. So it's one of the things that I noticed, and I leaned over to Mare while we're watching it. I go, this is a layered movie. For a horror movie, this is an onion. This has got a lot of layers to it. Just when you think you're done with one part, you peel back a layer, and here's another part. You peel back another layer. Here's another part. It's multi-layered. For a horror film, I was very impressed.
One of my favorite layers is I went into the film blind, and like I don't even look up who does what anymore. So I didn't really know who directed the film when I watched it. So after I watched the film and I look into it, it's one of the guys from The Whitest Guys You Know.
Yeah, The Whitest Kids You Know. Yeah.
Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
He's one of the whitest guys you know. And talk about another comedian excelling at writing horror.
Right. Yeah,
and then I'm comparing him to in my head to Jordan Peele. Then I read some more stuff. It's like, oh wait, Jordan Peele was kind of like a fly in his ear during the whole thing. He was like bouncing ideas off of him.
Right, and like John Krasinski, another like on a funny show, The Office. He goes and he does A Quiet Place 2. Another guy that's in comedy doing horror and just doing it really well. Mm-hmm. So I texted Scott. So we reviewed Jeepers Creepers Reborn last week, and we did the whole franchise as a whole. And I'm watching that, and I watched this basically in the same day. So I watched Jeepers Creepers Reborn, and then later on that night, after I had got done watching this, I text Scott and I go, we should review Barbarian, which I think we said, did we make that decision last week? I think we did.
Yeah.
We just made a decision that we were going to review it. Then I finally watch it and I text Scott and I go, listen, Jeepers Creepers Reborn is horrifically bad. Or I think I put in all caps, really fucking bad.
Yeah, really fucking bad. And Barbarian is really fucking great.
Yeah. So
I told Holly that, and she was like, all right, I'm in, and we're going to watch it. Now, I do think that you hyping the film actually raised our expectations. So I know Holly walked away from the film not liking it or being meh about it. She's like, it was okay, because she thought it was going to be something like mind-numbingly awesome because you said it was fucking great. But I understand, because when you talk about watching Jeepers Creepers Reborn and then watching Barbarian, is that the order you watched them in?
Yes.
See, this same thing happened to me. I'm sitting home alone one year, and I watch Texas Chainsaw Reboot.
Okay.
And the end, that film ended, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know if it's worth it to go on living. I mean, why do we make films like this? Why? What's with all the suffering? And there's no point to this. And the next film I watched was Bad Boys 2, and that saved me. And that was like the greatest film in the fucking world to me.
But here's the thing. I would still feel this strongly about Barbarian had I not watched Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
I'm just saying that I think the tone might have been a bit more measured if you hadn't preceded it with Jeepers Creepers Reborn and just been dragged through the fucking sewer. But it's a good film. It's a great film.
Did me saying that it was really great, is that considered a lot of hype?
No. In context, you put it at the opposite scale of Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yeah.
Expectations just went a bit further than one might,
I still stand by it.
I think she was looking for something more along the Babadook lines. I don't know. I'm not saying I was disappointed. I thought you came in a little hot, and I blame it all on Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
I'm sticking by this movie is fucking great. I'm sticking by it.
Me too. No.
I am.
You're not going to have any arguments rating it. No. Let's get into it.
All right, let's
get into the film. Now, all I remember in the trailers was the trailer showed like Justin Long, and then there's renting a house, and then there's a huge tunnel into the basement, and then that's all. Remember, I was like, I'm not watching anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't even watch that much.
Okay.
The only thing I knew about this movie was that somebody told me Justin Long was in it, and they said Justin Long is in it, and he's excellent. That's the only thing I knew. I had no idea Bill Skarsgård was in it. I had no idea that Rob Zombie's guy was in it. I had no idea whatsoever.
And I'm so glad I did that. And I do remember, and we're going to get into the title of the film first. I do remember bringing this up at work and saying I'm very intrigued because the trailer it was a teaser trailer, so I didn't watch any of the trailers that came out after that. I just said people, Justin Long renting a house, open the door, there's like stairs going into like a tunnel. And I'm like, yeah, but the title's Barbarian, and it's so bizarre. And, like, it doesn't really explain anything. And one person at work was a little sarcastic about it. It's like, what, Barbarian? I'm assuming there's a barbarian down there. So, all right, you were wrong. and actually, the title kind of bothers me a little bit.
You did mention that.
Yeah,
you did mention
because, I mean, it's almost like a bait and switch.
Well, I think I know why it's called Barbarian. We can get to that when we get to it, but
we might as well mention it now. There's no reason.
I think it's called Barbarian because of Rob Zombie's guy, because he's barbaric.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were. No, the house is on Barbary Street.
Yeah, that's it.
Barbarian. Because he's a that's where he is. He lives in. He resides. He's a barbarian.
So what you're saying? Okay. So what you're saying is
that's why they mentioned the street like 10 times in the film. Like Holly pointed it out to me. She's like, "There's your title, idiot." It's like, what? Barbary. They keep mentioning it. So I'll give her credit. I was zoned out on that. It's because it's on Barbary Street. Now, there's the subtext of him being a barbarian. You're correct. But, like calling him the Barbarian, you'd have to explain in the film why you picked that specific phrase, But
I mean, I guess I get it. I guess I get. I mean, like
Barbary Street.
Yeah, like in Jaws, they're in New York. They're on the island off in New York, and they call themselves Islanders. I get that. Yeah. Barbary Street and Barbarian. It's like if you live on that street, you're considered, a barbarian because you live on Barbary.
Dude,
I don't like it.
Let's get something straight.
I don't like that.
No. Let's get something straight.
I think
nothing lives on Barbary Street.
Well, yeah. No, I did.
Yeah, I mean, this is how
it's a double entendre if you really, I guess, break it down.
If you hadn't told me this was a great film, the first 15 minutes of the film would have made me very, very nervous. So let's talk about the opening of the film. The opening of the film is a dark street, the house on Barbary Street.
Yes, the girl, the main character, she pulls up in the rain.
And the actress's name is Georgina Campbell.
Right, and she
plays Tess.
She plays Tess.
And Bill Skarsgård is inside the house. Surprisingly, because she rented it. It's an Airbnb, and they both ended up renting it on the same night.
She rented it a month earlier. He's already there.
Right.
And then you really find out why that gets all screwed up late, when Justin Long's character is brought in.
No. You don't. And let's hold off that argument.
Okay. All right.
All right. So this is the guy, and he's like, well, so then we start this awkward 15-minute dance of post-Me Too reality where everything is focused on the point that this guy doesn't know her, she doesn't know him, and right now she is rape bait, front and center.
Yep.
So and so the whole thing, because of you specifically telling me this is a great film, I went past the first thought, which is, oh, Jesus, this is so lame, to this whole first act is going to be a red herring.
Right. Well, I kind of was getting that notion. I was kind of getting that notion. Especially when she finally goes down those stairs.
No, I mean, by the time like morning comes, I'm already 100% on that. Yeah, okay. But it's not useless, and because the whole I don't want to get philosophical on it right now, but yeah. So, but there's this whole back and forth. She takes pictures of his driver's license, the check who she is. She doesn't like call anybody and tell them she's there, which I thought was stupid.
Right. Well, she does. She
thought,
does go on her job interview.
The next day
she does go on the job interview, and she does tell the person she interviews with exactly where she's living.
Right.
And then that woman is like, you need to get out of there.
Yeah, no.
She's like, no. The street's a little rough, and because the next morning when she wakes up, she looks at the street and everything is dilapidated.
Okay,
everything is overgrown.
That part's beautiful because that's a reveal that like you don't like. It's a great reveal because you have no idea.
Right.
So I mean, so this whole the great thing too about this dance between Tess and Keith, this Airbnb thing is that Keith is like overly sensitive and aware to the situation, but at the same time he really doesn't portray emotion well. I mean, and intentionally. I think the actor's doing it intentionally. So, like this awkward. It's like as an audience, you're just like, no, don't drink that. No, it's like it doesn't just. It really poses the idea of like. I think the two main things you take away from that beginning, if you're paying attention, is the lengths that these people go to avoid known dangers.
Right.
And and there was a second one. Oh, and the concept that this nice person could be a predator.
Right.
I don't know this person, and I'm trying to judge this person, and how do you tell? How do you tell?
Yeah.
That really is it's not even the main focus of the story, I don't think, but it is definitely one of the main themes.
Oh, definitely. Every time she goes into a room, she locks the door, and they have a shot of that happening to make sure that that she is still on edge. She is still not trusting him yet. Well,
I mean, let's clarify one thing though. By the end of the night, she wants to jump him, but she's still being cautious. But she's not like on edge anymore. She's aware and she's being safe, but she's not like fearful anymore, like she was at the beginning.
She doesn't lock her door at the end of the night.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't even fuck with you on that. Like I love the transitions. Just like night day done. It's like, you know what? We're not going to fuck with you. We're not going to pan around the room. No. Nothing happened overnight. Okay.
Right.
I like that. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Zach. Thank you, Zach. Yeah. So she wakes up the next day. She walks out and realizes, holy shit, this isn't a neighborhood. This is a fucking ghetto. Not even ghetto. It's like a ghost town. It's like it's abandoned. And except for this one house, which is dingy but still kept up, and the inside was fine. So that's a red flag, obviously. And then she finds a note on the table for as you saw. I don't have to say spoilers anymore. That's why I did that.
Yeah, she got it in the front. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. When she sees the note on the table, and he's like, Keith, I went out. And I turned to Holly and said, he never left the fucking house. He's down in that basement. Because that's all I know about the film going in is that one teaser. But I'm already trying to call that. But like you said, she goes on her job interview, mentions where she is. Later, when she comes back, a homeless man runs at her screaming, and like any rational person in the world would do, ran in the house and locked herself in and called 911.
Right.
So 911 has a record of her being there at that point too. So that because I'm cataloging this stuff as the film's going. It's like right now enough people know where she is that when she's like disappears, because we know she's going to disappear.
Right.
Someone's going to eventually notice. So this isn't like some master plan or anything going on. This isn't a coven of witches,
right?
Conspiring years in advance because they can't find someone just to fucking knock up with the devil.
Yeah, I mean they should have been. I mean, it's the dawn of the internet. Somebody should have gone to that house. That's her last known address.
here's the first part where I was pissed off at this character, and this is one thing too. You don't have full sympathy with her either because she does some really fucking stupid things. And the first thing I called is the beginning shows her leave the house. You see,
Right.
Revealed desolation. Go to the job interview. I'm going staying here. Oh dear God, you shouldn't be there. No, it's fine. She goes back to the house. Homeless guy raped by it, and then she's like, "Oh, this is too great." She starts packing, and that's like, "Wait a minute, wait. You went to an Airbnb. Strange guys there. Shouldn't be there. You spent this whole weird night with that bullshit. You're not like packed and ready to go to a motel the next day, just in case."
You're right.
What the? No, already I've lost all respect for her. So no. Her suitcase should be in the back of that fucking truck when she's on her job interview. She doesn't know what's going to happen.
No, I know. But I think in the back of her mind, she's thinking about Keith. He's gonna come back. He told her he was going out. She was going out. He's gonna come back. She really likes him by the end of the night before. She's like, maybe because he's going to be in town, she's going to have this job potentially. She's thinking like a romantic tie-in. That's what she's thinking. They didn't exchange phone numbers yet.
I agree with you, and I think that's a valid reason for the character in the film, and I'd still say she's a fucking idiot.
Well, I don't disagree with that. There's no...
right.
Listen, once I woke up and saw the neighborhood, I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I will sleep in my car in front of a hotel before going back to that house. I'll sleep in the parking deck in the nice hotel and wait till they call me for a room that opens up. That's what I would have done.
I think even after the job interview, when she pulls up in front of the house, Holly and I are both like, "You're back at the house?
Yeah.
What? How did this happen? Come on." So as we descend into the cellar, because she can't find Keith and she hears that noise, and we descend into the sub-cellar, let's talk about the cinematography in this film.
Oh, it is top-notch.
Very clean. There's always a lot of doors, a lot of everybody's framed, and very claustrophobic. Great camera work by writer director. Again, one of the whitest kids is a damn good director.
Yeah.
I just and again, he's not the cinematographer, so I don't know who is. Yeah, so it's actually bad that I said that.
No, I know, but he knows what he wants in the scene. He has a cinematographer that's like, listen, this is what I'm looking for, and that's the cinematographer's job, to deliver his vision of what he wants. And at any time, he could be like, no, this isn't working. Let's try something different. Totally. I mean, just because he's not the cinematographer doesn't mean that he is not, vocalizing what he wants. And
I just didn't want to give that actual name. I just goofed on what I called it. That's all.
Oh, fine.
Ignore me.
Fine.
Ignore me. Anyway. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you fine.
I can hear you. Okay. I don't know if there's a slight chance I might lose my headphone and I may have to go back to my other headphones because I didn't charge it properly because I'm an ass.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just
you're not
sure
an
I don't
ass. It's fine. Don't.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah. So she goes in the basement. She finds the door, and there's this huge tunnel down there, and she's like, "Oh." And she wanders down it. It's like, no, nope. And like the first she says nope.
Yeah.
It was like, good for you. And then she's like, no, I'm going to take a look. And so she does the whole, she stole it from the mummy. Definitely. She's seen the mummy. She puts the mirror down with the light.
Oh, right. To light up the dark hallway. Sure.
And I knew she was going to say it too because I said, look, somebody watched the mummy. And I was like, all right, 3, 2, 1. She said, or Fifth Element. It's like, yeah, I know. But which one came out first?
The Mummy.
Fifth Element. Shit.
But the door closes behind her, and it locks from the outside. So she actually gets trapped in the basement.
Right. So while she's sitting there, she's like, I'm gonna explore. Again, still agree. Valid point. Still a stupid choice.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I did forget to mention that she got locked.
I mean, she didn't.
But again,
she didn't know. She didn't know the door was going to do that.
Yeah, she should have. If she was that scared, she should have checked. I'm sorry.
True. You jiggle the handle on the outside. If it doesn't turn all the way to the left or right, it's going to lock.
Yeah. what I love about that one little detail, like not only is it just like a cliche about how to get the character down there, but it sets up some of those great shots of just the hallway with the chair holding it open. Right. Very stark, vivid imagery, of that, very. Yeah, it's a plot point that's put in there with the imagery in mind, and I love that. It's
got some very good long shots.
Right. So she goes down to the end of the hall, cave, which she shouldn't be there in the first place. No. She finds a room, turns the light on. There's lighting still working down there. Get the fuck out. And and the room just has a stained mattress, a video camera, and a bloody handprint on the wall.
Yeah, time to go.
Yeah. Right.
Listen, but even with that, she is fucking freaked out, and she's like, "That's it, I'm done. I got to get out of here."
But
then she finds out that the door is closed and she's locked in. But luckily, Keith arrives,
shows back,
and she's at the window in the basement, and he sees her, and they manage to get the window open, and she crawls out.
See, that's a minor detail.
What?
I'm sorry. I did.
What?
No, I'm editing you in my head. I'm sorry.
Why are you doing that?
I'm just like,
editing me live on the show while I'm doing it just makes this way longer.
I'm sorry. It slipped out. I didn't mean to. Continue, sir.
But then they enter back into the house where she tries to explain everything to him. It's like, I was just down there. There's some fucked up shit. There's a room with a camera.
Okay.
What?
No, not you.
Oh.
So, not you.
Okay.
So these...
Well, how come I not think it's me after the 60 seconds earlier?
Sorry. I'm never going to live this down.
I already forgot about it.
No, what I love about this scene, when she's like telling him, there's shit down there, this is crazy, I got to leave. And Keith, who at this point seemed like a very level-headed, rational person, was, so I need to look before we go calling cops or anything. So, whoa. So, and then his stupid thing is, I'm going to go and check out this bizarre thing you're talking about because you're scared, so obviously it must be nothing. Suddenly turning from understanding, person to, total misogynistic idiot. And then she is like, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait here in the house for him with the suitcase instead of being in my car. That whole conversation should have taken place from a cracked window of her car with her on the inside. And I said that then.
Again, still liking him. Still is like,
right.
You know what? One day we're going to be telling this story when we're in our apartment and we're married. Like, remember that time in the base over wine and cheese and just chilling, watching Netflix. Like, remember that time where you went in the basement? You didn't believe me? Oh yeah, I remember. That was crazy. Oh, that was the weekend we met.
I do appreciate that even though the film has a strong female lead, the male character that we meet in the beginning doesn't think with his dick, and she does, and that's why she ends up in the fucking basement.
Yeah, you're right. She's taken with him, and he's like, listen, just wait for me so the door doesn't close on me.
So she waits. He chair propping the door.
Right.
She waits
because he doesn't come back.
She calls for him. He doesn't come back. So she goes down there, and then she goes further in, and she finds out the end of the tunnel wasn't really at the end. There's another door there,
right?
And there's more caves, and then she's walking down it scared, and she sees cages.
Right. Yeah, she sees cages.
It was like
pretty large. I mean, you could decipher that those hold people. Yeah. That's how big they are.
Yeah. No one's raising dogs down here. What the fuck's going on? Yeah, and she knows she's scared shitless, but she keeps going further just because she's thicking with her dick, and she eventually comes upon Keith, who's crawling and screaming
towards her. Yeah,
right. She tried. I do like how, except for the thinking with her dick part, Tess is the most rational character in the whole film. She makes some stupid decisions, but at this point she's like, "Come with me." He's like, "No." Then insane 10-foot tall baby mama, comes out of nowhere and smashes the fuck out of his head. I couldn't get a good shot of it. They really blurred it. It's not. You don't really see much except I do have a before and after shot.
It's just chaos. What they're introducing into that shot is just chaos.
And what's great, the camera is always so steady and reserved, clean cuts that when this chaos suddenly happens and suddenly the camera's whipping back and forth, it's disorientating even more than it normally is.
Right.
Just because the film has been very.
It's almost like you're seeing it from her POV, like her point of view, where it's like it's so crazy. You're seeing it from her eyes. It's just like it's just so chaotic. You know,
I wasn't thinking that much.
Fucking going. I mean, I could imagine on her end, it's like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't paying that close attention to the camera work per se, but as we talk about it more and as I think about it more, I want to go back and watch the film again. I'm curious how many of the camera shots are just still, and how many actually move before we get to the violent stuff in the like the crazy stuff in the tunnels.
Okay.
Because because there's the film very very static, establishing shot. I mean, very static camera work until you get down there. Then everything goes frenetic, and it works. It really, that change of style. But so it cuts to Justin Long in his car having a beautiful day.
Yeah, he's driving on the coast. It's one of those things when he pulls over, he just pulls over onto sand. And I lean over to Mare while we're watching. I'm like, man, the West Coast, like, look at that. Just you're on a highway and you just pull over and you're on sand. That's crazy. It's crazy.
She turned to you and said, "He raped a girl. What are you talking about?"
Well, I mean, when he gets he's all happy. He gets the phone call, and they're like, he's an actor, so he was in a pilot, and they tell him that the production company that's doing the pilot is moving on from him. He's not going to be in the pilot anymore. And he's like, what the hell? What's going on? What's going on? And then they reveal that one of the co-stars has filed a complaint, and he's like all confused. It pulls over, finds out that she's accusing him of rape. And
all right, you got it mixed up. The whole conversation happens while he's driving. He pulls over in dead silence as shock settles in. But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know.
It's minor detail, but
oh really?
It is driving or pulled over. It's the same thing happens.
No, it sets the context for why he pulled over. I disagree.
So he defends himself that he did not rape her.
So, but immediately though, we already know that this film, because of the setup, is about predators, like sexual predators, and so we were immediately like, okay, this is definitely part of the whole theme, and I personally was like, all right, he's definitely going to be guilty, because there's no way we're doing this whole without knowing any backstory. There's no way that this is false. He definitely did something to her.
Oh yeah, girl. No, it's just even when he's talking to his wealth management, talking about what it's going to cost to fight it, lawyers. And he's like, oh, yeah, and the defamation case, I'm going to win that, of course. And I'm just like, oh, dude, you so did it.
But it's Justin Long, so you kind of want him to be right. You kind of feel it's a very, very smart casting too, because this is you're supposed to actually want to buy into what he's saying. I mean, like, and they keep it vague, not for long though. I have to give this again. He doesn't like stretch it out too much. It's all right. This is not what you're focusing on. So we do find out like 10 minutes later in real time film time, where. When he calls up his friend Dougie and he's hanging out in a bar and he describes what happened, it's like, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you didn't rape. No, oh, you raped her.
Yeah. He's like, listen, in the beginning, she didn't want to, and then, I'm persistent, and she finally came around. It's all good. It's like, oh, dude.
But it's great because just like his friend in the bar, you want to believe him. But just as he said, you just know, it's like, oh man. And again, so they don't make us guess through the whole film. We know at this point, yeah, this guy did rape a girl, and he's gonna have to start thinking about it. The only person
after that night, he calls her drunk and leaves a voicemail. saying, "I'm sorry if
At the end of the night,
I did anything. I just want to apologize. I'm sorry. Call me back so I can apologize again." I'm like, yeah, you that's guilt. That's guilt right there.
Besides his bar buddy that he hangs out with that evening, the only other person we see him contacting in his as far as like a personal life is his mother.
Oh,
and they even throw the whole thing there where the father was like, "Yeah, your father wants to talk to you." Really, he said that? Yeah. Not, you know how he is. It's like, wow, storytelling, so much detail in so few sentences. Strange relationship. Goes to his mother, so he's definitely got a strong relationship with his mother. No patriarchal connection,
right,
apparently.
Yeah.
So it really you get a lot of a feel for this person. Again, great writing, great storytelling. Of course, when you're doing like skit comedy, you're trying to get like as many jokes as you can to like a 5-minute thing. You know how to write, you know how to deliver. So I'm not surprised.
No, I know, and it's like you said, you could tell that he was probably raised by two wealthy parents that just had no time for him. You don't get a notion you don't get any notion that
father just never liked him.
It's probably you and you also you don't even get a notion that he has siblings. He might,
no,
but he's probably an only child, which is even lonelier when you're an only child and your parents don't have time for you.
Right, but this film gives you so much to work, so much with so little. He does that whole thing. Yeah, he calls what's it, Barbara? What was her name?
It was Barbara,
the real estate agent.
Yeah,
Bonnie.
Is
Bonnie.
It's close enough.
What the fuck's going on with Bonnie? That's the wild card in this fucking movie. But so he calls the real estate agent Bonnie. It's like, are there people here? I got fucking suitcases and stuff. She says, no, we haven't rented that place out in a couple of weeks. Which means that which I guess means that the Barbarian, if we're going to call him that, is that what he? No, he's just called Frank in the thing. So I'm going to call him Frank.
Frank.
Frank. That's assuming that Frank is booking these reservations to lure people down there. But
how?
When we see Frank near the end, I don't see Frank on the internet.
He's fucked up. He's basically struggling to live.
I don't see him like browsing the web, posting shit. And
honestly, I think those days are way, way over.
Right.
And I think his inbred daughter, spoiler alert, that comes only at night. I have a feeling that she is doing stuff. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. I don't know how that could be because, this particular character, like 3 different people know where she is and no one came looking for her. That's not going to be the case for everybody.
Yeah.
The house is well kept on the outside. Because,
that's what I'm saying. So there's no real...
Justin Long owns the house, okay?
Right.
And he has a service that comes and cleans the house. So I'm assuming there's also a service that takes care of the outside too.
No.
What?
He has a service that rents the house out.
Right. And they take care of the inside and the outside between
but
guests.
Their main focus is they're the ones that rent it out for him. So he's just the owner.
Yeah.
And then he gets a person. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But there's somebody taking care of the property that he has hired in some way, whether it's the service that he pays for or whatever. I'm not incorrect, am I?
No, I was just clarifying.
Because they also say...
The way you were saying it, I was just clarifying.
I'm saying there's an entity that cleans the inside and the outside between guests. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but he brings it up. Entity rents that out.
Right, and he
has no idea what's going on with the house.
He brings it up.
So he calls Bonnie.
Well, hold on. He brings that up. And she says, well, no one has come there because the guests technically haven't left. She goes,
no.
Or they haven't rented it in 2 weeks. So no new renters, nobody comes to clean.
They only clean the house before they rent it. So she says they hasn't been rented in 2 weeks. The cleaning doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
I think it kind of makes sense that no one has rented it because it's in such a shit area.
No. The point.
What?
The point is she says no, they haven't rented it in a couple of weeks. The Tess rented it, booked it a month ago.
Right.
So either he's maintaining separate websites and renting it separately, or Bonnie's in on it. That's all I'm trying to get to.
Fine.
And then when Justin Long shows up in town and goes to get the keys, before the conversation, Bonnie's not there. There's no Bonnie. So like Bonnie's this faceless entity, and that's on purpose. Because there's no reason not to show Bonnie unless there's a reason not to show Bonnie.
Right. Although there is a screen credit for a Sophie Sorensen, I'm assuming just for the voice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Like on the surface, they kind of explain what happened, but below that is like he left that little fucking loose thread. What the fuck's going on with Bonnie?
Somebody's getting yelled at upstairs.
Cool. As long as it's not me, that's all that matters. As long as I'm not getting yelled at. Justin Long, he goes, this is where the film I thought is really, I ended up loving the film, is I love the fact, are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay. I love the fact that Justin Long, the next day he's like, so what the fuck's with these luggage and shit? Who are these people? He tries to figure out who they are. He rifles through the luggage, barely tries to get into the laptop, and eventually wanders off down to the basement. And he sees the mirror and everything. He opens the door and finds this tunnel. And his first thought is, and I love how it just it just cuts to him on the computer. How much square footage can you put in the value of the home? Because we know he's there trying to liquidate stuff to pay for his lawyers, and that the whole sequence where he's measuring this creepy fucking hallway in this house and the tunnels because it's more square footage to try to sell it, and just oblivious. He's moving the rape bed.
Yeah, he really doesn't have.
He's sitting on the rape bed.
And then at one point he's like, "Ooh, gross!" And then that was kind of the end of it. Like the fact that there's a camera in there is like not a big deal.
He's so focused on him, and again, this is like an insight to his character trait that the film shows through this comedic element, is that his focus is on him. So he doesn't see danger for himself right now, so he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so even when he finds the second door and he sees the cages, like, what the fuck is this? But he's still measuring shit. Because even when he sees the cages, he's like, yeah, something's not right here. But how much square footage is this? This is beautiful.
I love his reaction, and I love that you put it in the opening where he's like, "Oh shit!" But it was one of those oh shits where it's like, look at all this extra space. This house just went from 1,200 square feet to 2,000 square feet plus.
there weren't any great catch lines in the film to use for lines in the opening, so I had to go with the more subtle stuff.
I'm glad you did. You did.
I also, even though we were using the spoiler thing, I didn't want to use any pictures that really spoiled the film too much, so I kind of hamstrung myself.
That's good. No, I appreciate that, and everyone else will too. So in the midst of all this, there's actually a flashback too. It shows the neighborhood all decrepit.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a flashback of the exact same neighborhood, and it's gorgeous.
So I just want to point this out. So when Tess is confronted by the baby mama, did she give a name in here?
The mother. Her name is the mother, which is
okay.
Which is actually played by a guy. What's his name?
Not surprising. So the mother. So when she's confronted by the mother, we cut to
Matthew Patrick Davis. Matthew Patrick Davis plays the mother.
So that's when we get our first real jarring cut to a different storyline.
Right.
So then when Justin Long is confronted by Mother, we cut to the flashback, another jarring cut.
Yeah.
So all these jarring transitions happen as soon as the character is introduced to the stark insanity of the Barbarian.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. He's driving around town. He goes to the local convenience store, and he lives in a beautiful neighborhood. There's lots of people. There's kids playing, like all kind. It's a nice neighborhood. So he goes to the store and he's putting stuff in his cart, and he approaches a woman that works there and says, "Hey, where is the rubber sheets?" And she looks at his cart and deciphers that he's having a baby, and she asks him if it's going to be a home birth. He says yes. So she's like, "You need all of this. You need this. You need this." He goes, "Bless your soul. What did your midwife say?" And he's like, "Well, I'm doing it alone." And she's like, "Oh my God, you need all this other stuff." And you just kind of think, yeah, he's creepy. He's Rob Zombie's guy. So he's a creep, in the movies that he's in. But you don't find out anything yet, So
the whole thing is like if you told someone, film a serial killer going about his day. This is what they would film. It's very textbook, but it works. I'm not criticizing it for being like carbon copy or cliche.
Right.
But this is definitely it just fucking tells you exactly what you need to know, and So he does the whole baby shopping thing. Then he follows a random woman that he saw outside of the grocery store. Follows her to her house. Pretends to be a serviceman. Unlocks her bathroom door, and then takes his
window. It was the window.
The window. Sorry.
Yeah.
I spoke. Then goes back to his lovely house on the street. In my Gen X brain, when I think of like the good old days like that, I think 50s. But I'm assuming this is actually the 60s this takes place in, before the 70s and the Depression.
Yeah, I would say it is, if I had to guess, somewhere around mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
That's just kind of feel you get from it.
You show me that lawn, and I think 50s. That's just my damage. And they have a great shot when he goes in. He takes his groceries in, and they give a long shot, and you see the door at the end of the hall, and the house is different, and there's a shovel and shit. So like this is, you notice like when he started, or like or roughly.
Well, but before even that, his neighbor comes out to talk to him and says, "Hey, just want to let you know, tomorrow we're gonna have a for sale sign on the lawn," and he's like, not really saying anything to that. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, I think the guy says the name of his wife, but he goes, my wife basically says, if we don't sell now, we're never going to get out of here. This town, it's going to shit. And he goes, you going to move? And he's like,
black people are moving in.
And he's like, you going to move? You going to sell? He goes, I ain't going anywhere. And then he goes in the house, and then you see all that stuff you just mentioned.
Yeah. Now, see, a bad writer would slip something in. He's like, I always live on Barber Street. I'm a barbarian. Or something stupid like that. Zach's better than that. He knows you don't have to explain it. It's just, it'll fucking come out eventually.
Right.
If I have any criticism about the film, it's his neighbor. Really, the most stereotypical like suburban white guy. Did you have to play it that fucking, like, make him the whole chubby fucking? He looks like Pee Wee Herman's like nemesis is renting now. I just or selling his house. Yeah, and again, like with that whole scene and just the film has a big focus on real estate.
Yes,
there's a lot of shit.
It's also in Michigan. It's in Detroit. So just knowing how Detroit is, the high crime areas and all that stuff.
That's what I meant to look up. Was if Zach was from Detroit?
I'm assuming he's from Virginia. He's from Virginia.
Oh, never mind then. Okay.
He's from Arlington, Virginia. But that's his birthplace. It doesn't actually say. Well, maybe it does. It says here, born in Arlington, Virginia. It actually doesn't say where he grew up. Probably have to look at him on Wiki.
Yeah. I don't, anyway, yeah, I was because I like how like films. I think this film's better because it didn't come from somebody from Detroit, like or like something like It Follows, where like the whole like half the film is just like a love letter to Detroit. So I don't give a fuck where you grew up. Jesus Christ, it's a fucking horror film already.
Yeah. You're very hard on that movie. It Follows.
Yes,
We reviewed it. We did review that, right? We did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
I think I walked away liking it. You walked away not liking it.
I think that's one of those films that I watched and immediately like, we're reviewing this motherfucking film.
You're very hard on the movie.
I think the only film I called you like I met before I even finished the film. I think the only film I didn't even wait till I finished was Snowpiercer.
You called me.
I called you. I actually called you. I didn't even text you. I called you while we were watching the film. We're reviewing this shit, so you got to watch it.
Yeah, I think
that's how bad that was.
I think you had a few drinks at that point. I think the gin kept you going.
That's unusual for me.
Yeah. We reviewed it though.
Anyway, we side railed. Where are we?
Flashback. Now move forward. Justin Long and her are trapped down in the hole.
And this is where our strong female lead actually like makes decisions based on her intelligence instead of doing stupid shit.
Right.
Where and they immediately show that she's in control and she know. And if you actually think a bit closer, even though they cut away after Mother beats the snot out of Keith's head against the wall, they just show her like scream at Tess and then it cuts.
Right.
But based on how she reacts down here and to Justin, it seems like she has already figured out that she attacked Keith because he was acting crazy. So she acted calm and that saved her life. And so she's just been like doing what she's told by Mother at this point.
But you know what, Mare actually pointed it out, just by how she treats Tess too, that you get this. It's subtle, but you get the notion that she is more partial to females, like taking care of females than males.
I think that's erroneous to say because we don't have any comparison besides these two, and at no point does Justin Long behave as rational, anywhere close to as rational as Tess does. So I think that you can take that away if you want to, but I don't think there's any.
I mean, she does try to make Justin Long's character
right.
her baby. So
that's why
there's no animosity, there's no violent nature towards him because he's not fighting back. But Bill Skarsgård's character, he was crawling, like he was, pretty much like he was not aggressive.
He was yelling and he was grabbing Tess. He was acting violent and emotional, and that's why she attacked him. But what I'm saying is that
Mary's saying that because he was doing that to a female and she's more partial to them, that's why she
again. I don't
him.
think you can take that away if you want, but I don't think there's enough evidence.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's what she brought to the table with it, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense.
I don't think so. I think it makes sense if you want it to, but I don't think there's anything in the film to actually back that up.
I have to watch it again anyway. I've been meaning to.
There's never an example of a male character of the same caliber as Tess who's treated differently. So there's no way to make that.
There's really no comparison. They already asked the director too, Zach Kreger, if he's going to make a sequel, and he says no. He goes, what am I going to do with a sequel?
Actually, he needs to make a fucking sequel because I need to know what the fuck's going on with Bonnie.
Well, here's the thing too. Well, that whole storyline has been extinguished with the end of this movie. The sequel would actually end up probably being a prequel that leads up to some,
No, because where's Bonnie? The sequel could be Bonnie setting up shop somewhere else.
Well,
who knows what she was getting out of this deal?
Bonnie could be his daughter. See?
The possibilities are endless.
But I'm just saying.
It's the only loose thread from this fucking film. I'm sorry. I got to focus on that.
A sequel would, this is what I think. A sequel would really, in turn, be a prequel. It would be any storyline before this one.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it then. I want something.
What are you gonna do?
Bonnie. It's all about Bonnie at this point.
If
It's a
that was
totally
true,
different setup.
if that was totally true,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have said blatantly, because he said blatantly, I don't see a need for a sequel.
He's right. There's no need for a sequel. You don't need a sequel.
But what you're saying,
I want
Bonnie,
one.
could be that integral to the story that you could create a sequel easily from it. Why wouldn't you want to do it?
Here's where you're getting jammed up.
Okay.
Don't think of Bonnie as a sequel. Think of Bonnie as a spin-off. Better Call Saul isn't Breaking Bad.
No,
Better Call Saul is Better Call Saul.
Yes. No, you're right. You're very, very right.
Think of that. That's the direction I'm going. So he's right. This film does not need a sequel, but Bonnie does.
Okay.
Because who knows what the fuck? If Bonnie's actually involved in this and knows what's going on, who knows what the fuck else she's doing? She could be running a serial killer. Holy shit! Serial Killer Realty Incorporated.
Okay. TM.
Yeah, there's your sequel. Zach, take it and run. Just give me a free copy on DVD or Blu-ray. Sorry, because up the ante. Take it. There you go. This is just one of the houses she fucking manages.
It could, yeah, it would work.
You're introduced to Bonnie. The whole film, the sequel starts out during the police investigation of the Barbarian incident, and during it, and you can use it to recap and maybe show some of the other characters and whether or not they're involved later in the film, or actually character, it'd just be Tess, but whether or not Tess is in it is inconsequential, because then the investigation eventually lead to Bonnie, and then once the investigation leads to Bonnie, we follow Bonnie and we find out what the fuck else she's been up to besides this.
Listen, if there's a sequel, prequel, whatever, to this movie, I'm gonna watch it because I loved this fucking movie.
Yeah, so I don't want to I don't want to go step by step through the rest of the film, because at this point we're in a really good tension territory and I don't want to ruin too much.
Right.
But I mean the basic concept. But at this point, she's trapped down there with Justin Long. One thing leads to another. She manages to get out, and then we were introduced to the Detroit police, who are apparently the worst police in the fucking world.
Listen,
and it's why
I'm not going to defend them, but you can tell that just from they're talking to her for just a couple of minutes, and it's like shots fired here and here. There's so much on their plate that no. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that's why they're dick cops and they're dismissing her, because you're alive, you're dirty, you're probably a junkie. We got to go take care of these other things, and they're dicks about it.
I just think they're dick cops.
I'm not disagreeing.
They're just dick cops.
I'm not. Well,
I think going deeper is pointless, because that's all we're given is the fact that just calling the cops in Detroit is really not going to solve anything. And this is why we need to.
If they were Grand Rapids cops, they probably would have listened to her. That's all I'm going to say.
If she was a white woman, they probably would have listened to her.
Well, I'm not. I can't disagree with you there.
There you go. All right. And if by any chance you're going to say, but this was a black cop, go watch Boys in the Hood and tell me, tell me about that some more.
Right. I'm happy that you put. Yeah, I'm happy that you woke. I'm happy that you put the videotapes in the slideshow.
Oh, that was my best part. That was my favorite part. That brought tears. I actually wrote down in my notebook here. I think I didn't wrote very few notes. I need to research it, but I feel like I spend a lot more time watching Justin Long die than I used to. I also noted what we talked about earlier, that Zach Braff is the anti-Justin Long.
Yes.
I covered that. But right here, best porn labeling system ever. And then Men Suck, and then I kind of gave up because everything else.
Did you see the one tape where it just said "Won't stop crying"?
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to pause it to look at some of these tapes, and I couldn't pause it too long because Mare's like, what the fuck? So I ended up doing it later, and I'm just like, wow, look at these titles. What the fuck?
I didn't pause it because I knew I'd be doing the slides for the show.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll see them later.
It's like Jane, Screamer. I'm just looking at it in your background. Hitchhiker.
Huger.
Won't stop crying.
Yeah, so when she escapes and tries to get the police, Justin finds the Barbarian, who's this guy that's been raping. So the whole point is like this 10. This is where I part a little bit with reality, but it's a horror film, so it's okay that it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But if he's starting in the 60s, and he's started because again we saw the shovel and shit. So at the very most, he's only 2 or 3 rape babies in. But if this guy's whole modus operandi is to kidnap women, make rape babies, and then breed the rape babies have to become old enough to breed,
Right.
which is at least 16, 17 years, 15? I don't know.
13,
Depends on
12 or 13, realistically.
I think it fluctuates.
In a lot of cases, 12 or 13, which is...
It's getting younger over the years, yes. It is. That is true. So even assuming that he's knocking up 14-year-olds, but then that means if it's inbreeding, then that means he has to be having males as well and having them knocking up the other ones,
or it's all him.
But then it's not inbreeding, so it wouldn't make sense that she's 10 foot tall and a fucking monstrosity, because that's the whole thing.
No, yeah, they're having baby boys, which are having sex with the siblings, the girls.
But if this is like, what's the earliest this possibly could have been? 65?
We'll say 65, sure.
65. How many years is that?
65. It's like
50.
55 years.
Not 55.
56, actually.
We're in 22, so there's got to be the number at the end.
56. No, I'm sorry, 57.
57. There we go. That's the number I'm looking for.
Yes, 57. Sorry.
I'm too drunk to get the answer, but I knew the end couldn't be a 6.
Yeah, no, because it's 5 and 6. Yes, it's 5
so
and 7.
In 57 years, traditionally a generation is considered 30 years. If we have that and say 15 years, 50, that's only like 4 generations to breed this like fucking albino gigantress. It doesn't make sense. It would, if it was like Frank's grandson in the basement, like Frank was, that would make more sense to me. But there's no way you got from point A to point B at all. Period. Straight. Stop. But I don't give a shit because the fucking movie's great.
It is fucking great.
But that's the setup. So we find the breastfeeding room, which comes up again later, and
you kind of get the notion that she has survived for 2 weeks on breast milk.
And we already saw the rape room.
Yes.
And it's such a relief to watch a film. This is like because I remember we watched The Black Phone.
Yes.
And then there was another film, and in both films, everybody goes like, "Well, why are you assuming there's rape?" Says, "How is there not rape?" I know they didn't say rape, but there's fucking rape going on. Finally, a film where it's up front. Yeah, there's rape going on. We showed you the rape room first. There's rape.
Yeah, it's the first thing you see when she goes down that hallway.
And again, they don't say it, but at least it's not ambiguous. Like, what is it? Well, he's if they're breeding, I'm sure rape's involved, so we don't have to say rape. But finally, a film where I don't have to make an argument for it. It's just he's raping the shit out of those women, and then there's rape babies, and then apparently, and it's based on the idea rape babies are raping other rape babies. Where the hell is he raising them? Bonnie's got to have a house on the side. There's definitely more going on than just this fucking house.
Yeah.
The ending's a little anticlimactic, but it plays stronger with our whole idea of Justin Long as an example of a sexual predator who, on the surface, is actually relatable, likable, empathetic, but at the end of the game, he's still going to throw you off the fucking cliff.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, we even though Mother does kill Keith at the beginning, and we know that she is violent and and the homeless guy too, but
Yeah.
it's fuck again. He's a comedian, so he knows before the guy even finishes the sentence. 'Cause when he started the sentence,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna die." Before he finished the sentence, she's breaking through the wall.
Well, because the thing is, too, they're in there, and he's like, well, how do you know we're safe here? Because I've been here 15 years. She ain't never gone in here. And
Right.
before he finishes it, she breaks in through there.
Right, that's why when he starts that sentence, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna die. But before he finishes, we're already into it. Zach knows, like, we're not gonna drag this shit out. They've been safe long enough, and we all know it. But I mean, but she's shown to be more nurturing, and that's why, like, she actually sacrifices herself in a way to save Tess at one point. And again, it's spoilers, so I don't have to fucking say it. So, but it shows that she's violent, but it's violent in a protective, maternal way. Ba 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 ba
baby.
Yeah, you don't get ba 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 in four generations. I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I think you can.
Actually, no. You
can.
No, you can. Sorry. All right. Let me.
Not
rephrase.
only can you in one generation, it really depends on how bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get the ba 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 in one generation. You're not getting the 10-foot albino.
She's not
In
10
four.
feet tall. What are you talking about?
She's crouching in the fucking tunnels when they're standing up. 8 feet.
No.
Easily 8 feet.
No.
Yes.
I don't
She's
think so.
How tall is she then, sir?
Maybe your
7?
height. Maybe your height at
No.
best.
Fuck no.
She's like 6'5".
Dude, I shouldn't have to argue this. You saw the film.
listen.
Georgina Campbell, will it give
She's
me
like-
her height?
Is she 5'5"? It should give her height, actually.
5'6". Shut up. She's at least 2 feet taller
No.
than her. She is 7 feet, if anything.
6'5".
I would easily say 8.
8
this has to be
feet.
some-
Come on. No.
She's crouching in those tunnels. Those are high tunnels.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
They were up with their heads. There's like a good 2 feet of room above. That's an 8-foot high ceiling, and she's ducking.
The fuck it is. There's no way that's 8 feet.
I know 8 feet. This is 8 feet. That's 8 feet.
It's not 8.
All right. 7 feet. She's ducking in a 7-foot. She's over 7 feet.
Do you know how tall 8 feet is? There is no way she's that fucking tall, dude.
I know it's taller than me. That's all that matters.
Agree to disagree. I hate that. I hate it, and I used it yesterday because I hate it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to use it.
I'm just saying she's fucking huge. She's definitely not.
I'm not saying she isn't. I'm just not saying she is not 8 feet tall.
And has superhuman strength.
Well, you live down in a basement your whole life, and you're
no,
inbred.
You tear a homeless guy's arm off like it's fresh bread. No.
That was one of those things where I was like, I love the scene, so I'm not going to argue it. But I'm like, you're not ripping somebody's arm off that easy. It's just not happening.
I thought the head was gonna go. Then when she ripped the arm off, and then was beating him with it in the background while they're running away, and that was the great thing. I love the fact, like, they had there's a whole scene where Justin Long's staring into the fire and his tears are up. He's come to terms that he fucking raped that actress.
Right. He's a bad person.
He's staring into fire, and he's like, I don't know if I'm a bad person. I've done bad things, but I know I can do good things going forward. And then she smashes through the wall and rips the homeless guy's arm off, and he's the first out the fucking door. Yeah. At that point, at no point after that smash is he less than 10 feet away from her in the opposite direction.
Yep.
So in the minute he did that, I was like, yeah, he's definitely no, yeah. There's no that whole speech was just for this reason. So
yeah, pretty much.
But but Zach does, and like it's obvious, kind of, if you look at it from a storytelling point, and Zach knows that. So again, he rushes us into it. Let's give the speech, and then I'm not giving you 10 seconds. He's running out that door. We're not going to dwell on this. We know he's a fucking scumbag. It's just, it's great storytelling. He knows when to go long. He knows when to go short.
It's great.
I'm looking forward to the next thing he does.
Yeah, he's done a couple of things. He did a movie back in 2009 called Miss March. It's a comedy.
Well, that was
I think he goes. The main character is in a coma.
Goes into a coma.
Yeah, wakes up.
He's the main character. He acts. Yeah, he's the lead
in the
too.
movie. He's the main guy.
Yeah, and the guy that died is his co-star.
Yeah.
And he goes in a coma and he wakes up, and his old girlfriend from high school is now like a porn centerfold.
Something like that.
Yeah. He also did, another whitest kid you know film, the Civil War on Drugs.
Oh, right.
Which I still haven't watched.
I haven't watched it yet.
I'm a huge fan of. It's a damn shame he died, but let's forget that. What do you want to rate Barbarian?
I already told you what I want, and you'll have to talk me out of it. But I'm going.
Yeah, but for the audience though, for the people listening.
Solid 8.
With bated breath.
Solid 8.
8? Really?
Yes.
No, I'm kidding.
And I honestly don't think I hyped it up that much. I just said it was really good.
Okay.
Take away from that what you will. I mean, I said it's really good.
So I don't remember if this conversation occurred on the episode or not. But at one point when we started talking about ratings, you're asking me like, "Well, can we go back to IMDb and see what we rated everything?"
Because I was like, you know what? What's the lowest film we ever rated? I don't think we've ever given a movie a 1, and we gave Jeepers Creepers Reborn last week a 1.
Right. So getting our ratings for all the films documented is a big project, because that involves me going into all the episodes that I don't have access to on IMDb and finding out what we rated it then. The account I have on IMDb now, I was able to get roughly 50 episodes, which is like a small portion of the episodes we have.
Right.
Available.
I don't even remember how long we've been rating it though.
Earlier than I have it recorded on IMDb, because my accounts on IMDb have been a fucking clusterfuck.
Okay.
But hold on, let me move around my screen here, because I love my 3 screens. I need a 4th one. Let me just sort this column here that I filled. So I went through all the IMDb ratings and put everything. And now when we rate them, I'm going to record them in this slide, in this beautiful spreadsheet I have here. Now, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, it didn't come up when I checked, so I must have rated it incorrectly, like on the wrong account, which I've straightened out. And actually, my account now calls us Moviesucktastic in the rating. So
sweet.
It's under the account's under my name if you go into the account owner, but the label comes up Moviesucktastic. So it only took 13 years, but we're there. What did we rate Jeepers Creepers Reborn?
1.
Did we go 1?
Yes. You tried to talk me out of a 1. And you're like, no, it's not a 1. And then I said, listen. And then I gave a couple of examples, and you're like, you know what? Fuck, you're right. It's a 1.
No, I know it's only been a week, but if I recall correctly, I think I stopped myself and said, and I pointed out something in the film is the reason why I could never go above a 1.
Yeah. I started, and you finished.
I think it was the Birdemic ending. I was like, I can't get beyond the Birdemic ending. It's a 1.
It's a fucking 1.
All right, so now all of a sudden I can't find my sort column. Hold on. Here we go. Sort and filter, smallest to largest. Now I already know. You asked originally, have we ever rated another film 1? And I know because I put these numbers in last week, we have. But now I will find out which one it is. The other film we rated a 1 was Saving Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
deservingly so.
Yes, yeah, I think so. So again, we don't have them all in here, but I will say, if you want to rate it an 8, here are the other films that we rated 8.
Okay.
Rated an 8 that I have recorded.
I'm ready.
And I'm not going to dwell on any of them. I'm just going to go through them. So don't interrupt me.
No. Just go read them.
And if you want to bring something up, bring it up at the end.
Okay, got it.
All right. Hellraiser, Coda, Dune 2021, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Wolf of Snow Hollow, Promising Young Women. A lot of these are Oscar films.
Yeah.
The Father, Trial of the Chicago 7, Judas and the Black Messiah, 1982 Poltergeist.
Huh. Oh,
I feel like
we
should be a 7.
we no, that's an 8. We reviewed Poltergeist and the remake Poltergeist one with Sam Rockwell.
Yes, the Sam Rockwell version
We probably gave it a
was
6, 5 or a 6.
It was something.
If I had to
think
guess,
it was a 5.
yeah, average, unnecessary remake, unnecessary.
So if we rate Barbarian an 8,
Yeah.
we're putting it up pretty high with other Oscar films.
Yeah, but there was 3 horror movies in there that we gave an 8.
No, yeah, I'm not saying not to. Here's what I'm asking.
One recently, Hellraiser. Which
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, can you think of any other horror films, like let's say in the last 10 years? Let's not get too far back.
Okay.
Where you would consider them a solid 8 or higher. Now, like Babadook, what is Babadook, like a 10, or is that like a?
I think we gave that a higher score.
I'm about to find out. We reviewed Babadook, right?
We did and loved it.
Yeah.
And we went into a whole review about its psychological implications, the not Easter eggs, but like the hidden, just little nuances that it had. You know, like she's throwing up black stuff, and it's like you could correlate that to ink. You know, because she's a writer, and there was all these like little things. I would, if I had to guess, we gave that one a 9, but it's not coming up as an 8.
It's not coming up because again, it has to do with my IMDb account, which is fluctuated.
I know we didn't give it less than an 8. Let's put it that way.
Right. I'm going to eventually get them filled out. So every episode we do, I'll have more numbers. But right now, so with that point, I'm not going to debate it. We'll just go aheend and give Barbarian an 8. I think it falls in line with some other horror films. Again,
the movie is just too well made. It's got so many fucking layers that it deserves to be recognized. It really does. Yeah. It's not like it just throws shit at you and sees and it sees what sticks. That's not what it does. It actually has these really great layers to the film between the beginning of the film, the flashback, the current, the 2 weeks later, all of it. It is really well done, and it deserves better than a 7, in my opinion. It really does.
Oh yeah, for me, yeah. I'm not gonna belabor that point. Yes,
all
yes.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. All right.
I think we're done.
I think we're done. I think we can.
Now, hang on.
Yeah.
What do you want to review next week?
Ooh.
Let's actually do this now.
I don't know.
And I'm going to say, if you're listening to this episode before middle of November, and you hear this, and you want to be on the show and review the episode with us, fucking call the number. It's there.
It's there. It's there for a reason.
And as long as you're not an asshole, I'm sure we'll get along fine.
There you go. Do you want to do another horror movie? You want to move away and do something different?
I would like I said at the beginning of the show, we a lot of our we've been doing this over a decade. A lot of the years we've spent doing older films that we grew up with, and 90s films, 80s films. We do kind of even out the new stuff with the Oscar films, but we don't really do topical current stuff. And I thought maybe we can bring some new viewers in by not just covering these like so bad it's good. Like I'll flip through and I'll see other YouTube. And this is, by the way, this is a podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're just listening to the podcast with a slideshow. So it's not really a YouTube show. But if I'm going through YouTube shows, things like the worst movie you've never seen, and it's like fucking like Sleepwalkers or something. It's like, dude, who hasn't seen Sleepwalkers? It's a piece of shit. So I get how a lot of these shows, a lot of the stuff that you and I grew up with, are now seen as obscure. Yeah, and I feel like there are people out there that have our frame of twisted mind, but are watching the newer stuff. 2.
Okay.
So I'm just hoping we can find some new fans. I would like to stick it. I would like to stick to the last 2 or 3 years. I don't want to hold rigid. I don't want to say it has to be 2022. Let's stay within the 20s.
Okay.
We'll keep
can
it
do that.
current, and just for a little bit until we get tired of it and want to do some old shit. And actually, Oscars are coming up soon anyway, so we won't be doing this too long before the Oscars.
No,
come up.
we're really
And-
only maybe
and-
4 or 5, maybe 6 episodes before we start. Before the Oscar nominations come out, we got to jam pack
and-
that in
The last time
until we go on our
finished
next hiatus.
Well, what I was going to say is, last time we finished the Oscars, we usually take a small hiatus. The last time we took a 6-month hiatus, maybe 8 months.
No, it was 6. It was 6.
It was 6 months.
Yeah.
I think our hiatus will be shorter this time because I think we're actually coming back.
Traditionally, it's about 1 to 2 months right after the Oscars.
Right. I think it might be a bit shorter because I might start doing some videos like YouTube stuff on the side anyway. Yeah. But I mean, I don't see us being gone 6 months next time. But yeah, this will hold us over till then. So I'm thinking I was trying to open up my fucking Plex and everything in the world is against me right now. Here it is. I just want to see what I have, what I'm interested in watching. And by the way, I put bad movies on my Plex to watch too. I think that should be obvious. So,
right.
I when I see a film, this is going to be a shit film. I definitely put it on my list. Anything catching your eye from the last year or two?
Nothing off the top. Nothing off the top of my head.
Let me get rid of Unplayed because
I could go into my Plex real quick and take a look as well.
I mean, if we stuck to horror, there's VHS 99 just came out. I know I saw that.
I don't think I want to do that.
I kind of agree. I think the anthology film is kind of hard to review. I definitely don't want to do Pearl. For love of Christ, I don't want to do Pearl.
I don't want to do that either.
I just watched Confess Fletch. I like that, but I don't want to review that.
You know what? Let me go, instead of by genre or anything, let me go by year. And I'll pick...
That's what I'm doing. Release date.
2019. We'll start with 2019. This is great.
The Gray Man was... I
radio.
actually enjoyed The Gray Man, so I don't know if I want to review that.
Did we review Brightburn by any chance?
Never. I still haven't watched it.
It's good.
I believe me, I know.
Good.
It's just one of those... And you know
don't,
what?
Don't let me overhype it.
Shut up.
I really don't think I overhyped it. I said it was really good.
Again, you weighed the one end of the scale so heavily with Jeepers Creepers Reborn that we just assumed it was like at the other end of the spectrum.
I mean, listen, I figured my wording is just take like this movie really sucks and this movie's really good.
I'm not blaming you.
I know you're not, but I don't think you know me long enough to go like, listen, this movie's really bad, this one's really good, to take it like shit. He must mean this movie is like fucking like it's gonna blow your mind. Listen, you know me long enough to say, listen, this movie
is way too personal.
Well, listen, I think you should know me long enough to know if I'm gonna tell you it's like this movie's gonna fucking blow your mind. That's exactly what I'm gonna say. I just listen. That's
let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. We could do the new Hellboy that came out in 2019.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I liked it. I'll rewatch it. If we do that, I'll have to finally watch Hellboy 2 because I still have not watched Hellboy 2.
You really haven't seen the second one?
I never had an interest in it. It
wow.
just seemed like it. The first one was okay, but then like when I saw they made a sequel, it's like I guarantee they're gonna fuck it up. I'm just not interested. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking for like films that could potentially be bad. Because I really do prefer. We already reviewed The Munsters. I mean, that's pretty much it for the fucking shitty films that I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
I always get the blockbuster ones, even if they can be bad, because I love reviewing them. We never did Moonfall.
That's not a good movie. It's not.
I can't believe
Jeepers Creepers Reborn bad, but it's a bad movie.
It seems like that, but it's like kind of like almost meta. Like they know it's a shitty film. They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We could do something like Guns Akimbo.
The Northman? I don't know.
That's Robert Eggers, the guy that directed The Witch, and he also did The Lighthouse.
You know why horror films are so great to review, or so great to go into blind and watch, is that they could go so right or so wrong so easily.
You want to stick the Justin Long kick and do The Wave?
If you want to, I've already seen it. I'll rewatch it. I liked it. It's a good film. I was looking for a bad film.
We could do Underwater.
What about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
We could do that. We could do Underwater. I think I haven't seen it yet. That's the one with Kristen Stewart.
Is that the chick from
Twilight? Yeah,
I've seen it. That would be an interesting review.
Yeah, because it borderlines bad, but it also from what the little bit you told me, it's like it's got some good parts. You know?
Yeah. It's not. I didn't hate life at the end of it.
Didn't hate life.
Like a normal day. It was just. I mean, it's got its ups and downs, and it's like horror and sci-fi. I don't care how good the film is. There's fucking flaws and there's fucking stupid shit because that's what the genres are. They're stupid shit. But it's not. Just enjoy the stupid shit. Star Wars is stupid shit.
Yeah, we could do something like
as long as you can admit that. That's the only reason the Star Wars has like a strong toxic fan base is because they don't understand it's stupid shit.
Right.
They've convinced themselves it's brilliant. No, it's stupid shit. You can like it, you can love it, you can enjoy it, you can build your life around it, but it's stupid shit.
We could do like Cop Shop.
You've been pushing that on me for a while.
It's fun. It's a fun movie.
Chompy and the Girls.
What?
Chompy and the Girls.
Chompy and the Girls.
That's what we're reviewing next.
All right. Chompy, I've never even heard of it.
It's on my Plex.
Chompy and the Girls. You got it.
Yep. Chompy and the Girls. You're going to hate me later.
I'm never going to remember that. I'm going to probably.
You know what?
I'm going to text you in a few days. What are we going to review?
Hold on. I haven't seen this, and I haven't seen the other film I'm referencing, but I guarantee this is in the same vein as your Greasy Strangler.
Oh. Okay.
It's like that guy, like just the movie poster. If you go on my Plex now and look at the movie poster before we wrap up.
All right. Let's see.
It's Under C for Chompy. I haven't even watched the trailer. I want to go into so fucking blind.
You got too many movies. Let's see.
And wait till you find out who plays Chompy.
Really? All right. Let's see. Chompy. Okay, there it is. Oh my God. 2021. 89 minutes.
You know who plays Chompy? Udo Kier.
Udo Kier. Oh my God.
Udo. Anything with Udo is good. I'll watch anything with Udo.
Sweet Jesus.
I love Udo.
All right.
All right, let's wrap up.
All right, let's. I mean, a troubled woman meets her father for the first time, and their encounter goes from awkward to alarming when they witness a man swallow a little girl whole. That's the poster.
Yep.
I am just spellbound. That is some poster, I'll tell you that. All right, let's end this shit. Wow,
right.
we went super long this week.
It was a good movie. It was worth it.
Excellent movie. Very, very good. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again for Moviesucktastic. Go to our website, Moviesucktastic.com. Listen or download the show there. You can go to our iTunes, and you can do the same thing. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Moviesucktastic, and you can see movie trailers when we go live. Anything that tickles us, we put it on Facebook. You should go there and check it out. If you want to leave us email, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, it's 908-514-4470. You can go do a search for Moviesucktastic in your favorite search engine. We come right up. Also, we just put our stuff on Amazon Music and what is it? Audible. Audible is on there. Scott texted me a few days ago saying that he couldn't listen to episodes previously or like before 350, and I figured out why. I immediately said to Scott, it's got to be the XML file that I put all that shit in. I know, I'm talking nerdy shit. Basically, it was a simple fix.
No one cares, Joey.
Nobody cares. I know no one cares, but you know what? I worked really hard to make it all work, and you're welcome.
I said thank you.
Everybody needs to know. I'm still working on a new website. I found the template that I'm going to use. It's just a matter of me finding time to do it. But it is coming. So.
Nobody cares.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
The music.
Wrap it up, dude.
Music's still going, man. I'm good. As long as the music's playing, I'm good. All right. Okay. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
Ba 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 ba
ba. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week. Bye bye.
Ba 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 ba.